A very good afternoon once again to everyone and a very warm welcome and thank you for taking a time to join us today in this session. There's a saying, a very successful transformation begins with a single conversation, and today we are here to begin that conversation together. So on behalf of NGenious Solutions, I am delighted to welcome you on today's exclusive webinar on modernizing packaging manufacturing operations. So my name is Shreya Mishra and I'll be the host and the moderator throughout today's session. So over to the next 1 hour, we all explore how packaging manufacturers can improve operational visibility, streamline productions, inventory, costing, finance, and dispatch while reducing dependency on spreadsheet and manual process and disconnected systems. So whether you are currently using Tally or any customized ERP or any simply looking for the smarter ways to manage your operations, we hope today's discussion provides practical insights that you can take back to your organization. So without any further delay, let's get started. So before we begin, I would like to quickly go to over a few housekeeping guidelines that today's webinar will run for approximately 1 hour. To make this session interactive, we would love your participation throughout all this session. You will have noticed there's also a live poll during the session. So we can encourage everyone to participate in this session. Toward the end of the webinar, we'll also share a short feedback form in the chat box. Your feedback is extremely valuable and will help us make the session even much better. As a token of the appreciation, every attendee will receive a certificate of participation, and yes, we also have an exciting lucky draw. So to qualify this simply, you just need to attend the session, participate in the live poll and submit the feedback form before the session concludes. Also, our winner will be announced via email or will be contacted directly by our team. If you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to type them in the chat box, or you guys can just unmute yourselves and can keep your questions one-on-one at any time. Also, we'll address many questions as possible during the time of Q&A towards the end. So now that we are all set, now let's move ahead. It's now pleasure to introduce our speakers for today's session. So our first speaker is Mr. Mantri Banerjee, AVP Dynamics 365. With extensive experience in helping manufacturing organization modernize their business operations, Mr. Mantri will walk us through today's packaging industry landscape and the operational challenges which manufacturers commonly face and why connected digital systems can become essentials for sustainable growth. Also joining us next is Mr. Shwet Shankar, Solution Expert, Business Central. So Mr. Shwet is specialized in Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central implementation and will demonstrate how manufacturers can streamline production, planning, inventory, costing, finance, and dispatch using an integrated ERP platform. So both of our speakers will also be available during Q&A sessions to answer your questions. Also, there's a saying which goes, you can't improve what you can't clearly see. And that's exactly what today's session is about. So creating a visibility that leads to a better decision. To begin with today's agenda, followed by our live poll and the business discussion, I would now like to invite Mr. Mantri to take it forward. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Shreya. Thanks for the introductions. Hello, everyone. Very warm welcome to the webinar sessions hosted by us. So before I jump into the main agenda, I'll just introduce myself as Shreya already informed my name. So myself, Mantri Banerjee. I am into this dynamic segments for last 19 years, closely Microsoft ecosystem, working from started from Navision 2.0 to still Business Central. So I saw the complete evolution, so the journey that Microsoft has, brings across the world, especially for the ERP evolution, digitizations. AI has been introduced, right? So I'll just quickly introduce NGenious Solutions over here. NGenious Solution is established in 2005, and our corporate headquarters, global headquarters in New Jersey, Piscataway in United States, right? So we are following two delivery models. One is our offshore delivery team, which is there in India, right? We are based out in Mumbai, right? And based out in Mumbai, Thane. So that is our ODC, Offshore Development Center, and another team are sitting into our corporate office. This is in United States, right? So we are basically a Microsoft technology shop and working with several Microsoft technologies, started from modern work systems, modern workplace, right? M365, email exchange migrations, SharePoint, right? Power Automate, Power BI, and apart from that, we are also heavily focused into that Microsoft Dynamics, right? In Dynamics, we are heavily focused into Dynamics 365 Business Central, which caters into the SMB and the SMCC segments, right? And Dynamics 365 Sales, Dynamics 365 CE, Dynamics 365 CRM, and the field service, right? Apart from that, we are also focused into the Dynamics 365 finance and operations, but majorly into that in a USA and in India, that in a large client base that we are working with our allied partners of one of the big four, right? Apart from that, apart from the Microsoft technologies, that we are also involved into the another technology stack point, which is ServiceNow, right? And ServiceNow is basically for IT, operating for the IT asset management, IT service management, IT operational management, in terms of that, that your IT systems, one single devices, I would rather say, or single platform, I would rather say, right? So the next slide, please. So in today's agenda, in today's session, that we are mostly talking about packaging segment, which is the third largest market, I would rather say, in India, and India is very emerging economy. We all knows that, right? So we started discussing of the packaging segments. So the core agenda of the today, that we have to discuss about what most manufacturer, especially for the packaging manufacturer, stands where, right? That where they are stand right now, because as I normally check, as I normally discuss with my clientels or the prospects, when we are discussing, or maybe that I discuss with them, so I saw that there are plenty of fragmented systems, right? They are using local applications, customized applications. Still they are using the legacy financial accounting systems, but the complete system, the whole life cycle will be the fragmented. So as I see, right, and as we normally discuss with our prospects or the customers, and even that the recent implementation that we have done, so I saw there are plenty of fragmentations, right, in terms of the systems, right? So there is a plenty of operational challenges, blind spots, I found, and we found, even the inventory systems are not connected with their core applications. The shop floors are not connected. Inventory and shop floors are not connected, right? Warehouse manager doesn't have any idea or doesn't have any clue that where the materials are there, right? In which stores that they found the materials. So they are these kind of blind spot that we normally observe, you know. So today's session is basically for this, and apart from that we do also have that, you know, AI transformations with along with the business central ERP, so we will discuss. So following up the poll, so I think so Shreya will conduct over this. Shreya.
Yeah. So, thank you, Mr. Mantri, for sharing those valuable insights and helping us understand the real operation challenges faced by packaging manufacturers today. We have also discussed why visibility across productions, inventory, finance, costing, and dispatch is becoming increasingly important. So, as we all know, seeing is believing. So, now let's move on for further discussion to demonstration. I am pleased to invite Mr. Shwet, who will show us how this business process comes together with Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central through the live product demonstration. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Shreya. Thank you very much, and thank you, Manti sir, for the introduction. Yeah, so let's first start with the packaging industry. So the total experience that we have with our packaging clients, it has taught us few things like the fragmented systems, the legacy systems like NAV. Apart from NAV, NAV itself is an ERP. However, it's now discontinued. Apart from that, maybe Tally or some other legacy systems or some custom made applications, they create some complications in the operations. And the biggest operational constraint is your fragmented system. Now, what is fragmented system? Your data lives in multiple silos. It lives in Excel. You are planning things on Excel, and then you are putting in ERP maybe partially, or even not, or maybe if you are not using an ERP, you are putting it once all the accounting has been done, the final form in your Tally. So your departments are disconnected. Your quality department is disconnected. Ink department is disconnected. Production is disconnected. Planning department is disconnected, which means that there is not a single source of truth. If you want a report to be generated, what is my today's production value? If you want that, you have to run multiple systems and it takes some time. There is no real-time visibility of it. If I say, what is the current load on my machine number 3, which is a corrugator, for example, or maybe it's a printing machine, or maybe it's a die cutting machine. What is the total overall load on it? What is going in? What is going out? What is my operational cost on it? There is no real-time visibility as of now in the legacy systems. And then, of course, manual compliances. Accounting and all those things, Tally is quite capable in that, hands-on on that. However, it is that Tally is your financial system. It is not connected to your operations. So it cannot track your costs. It cannot track your raw material and everything up to the production level. So so these are some operational challenges that are majorly faced by a packaging industry in a packaging industry plant. Where does the visibility breaks? As I said, your finance and compliance is completely disconnected from your operations. Your inventory warehouse might be using some software that is not connected to your ERP or maybe your existing softwares. There is no proper visibility in your production department and your shop floor. Costings, margin, tracking all these things becomes very much hectic without any ERP. Dispatch, delayed dispatches cost you a lot of money, and it can also lose trust of your customers. And of course, reporting is the ultimate thing that is going to be the final product that you're going to get once you involve business center, and on top of that, AI powered processes of business center. How business center solves these problems? Business central, if team here is exposed to any ERP or maybe has seen any ERP in action, they know all the departments are integrated. Your finance, inventory, production, costing, everything is under single umbrella. So they have one single source of truth. which means that there is only one software, all data is living inside one screen. And if the planner wants to know what is the costing of this product, what is the total lead time that takes to manufacture this item per unit, it can system can give it to the planner. If the plant owner, the plant manager wants to know what is my total production capacity as of now on average, so they can get year on year analysis of what was in 21, what was in 22, what was in 23. Based on your historical data, they can prepare those detailed reports up to the tracing of your raw material itself. And then of course AI, today we are living in the world of AI. So business central comes packaged with AI, so you got all the AI features inside it. Why all these things are necessary? These are all necessary because you have to scale. India is scaling, as we mentioned in a previous slide. India is scaling, India's manufacturing is increasing, so is the packaging requirements, so is the companies which are creating packaging materials. That's why you need to scale. And if you need to scale, you need to harness the power of ERP. And the best word for that would be AI powered ERP, AI powered operations. Now, since we are talking about business central, let's talk some common industry specific problems that are usually faced by packaging manufacturers. The most important, the biggest pain that we have seen in our clients is their problem with managing their bill of materials, their ink items and all those things, adhesives. It becomes very complex for them to do it on Excel or maybe some legacy system if they do not have an ERP. The material wastage, tracking of material wastage, trim loss, machine setup, downtime, all those things, changeovers, everything, managing everything becomes very complex in Excel and siloed systems. And then, of course, your budget versus actual. What was estimated? What was the estimated cost of this item? What was the actual cost of production? What was the estimated cost of production? If you want to know why did the production cost increase, why did the scrap increase, you have to dig into your production logs, look at the log sheets, look at your Excel, and then find a conclusion. That itself cannot give you the proper answer. That's why you need a ERP. That's why you need business central. On top of that, people want to do decal planning, they want to track their reels, they want to track their substrates, films, they want to track the original mill from which the paper has came, how it was used, when it was used, which machine did it was it consumed, which is the customer you sent the material in which that bill of material was used. And of course, the planning engine we have seen in the major plants, the planning engine is completely disconnected from their existing systems. And that is the biggest issue, because your planning is disconnected, your costing is disconnected. This creates inaccurate costing, inaccurate cost tracking, inaccurate, it creates, sometimes your machines become overburdened, sometimes you are not able to utilize the overall potential of the machine. So that's why you need business central as a solution. Now in here I would like to ask the audience, is there any other challenge apart from what has been mentioned in this screen? Is there any challenge that you are specifically facing which is hampering your everyday operations, or maybe you would like to handle that exception in your plant? The stage is open for everyone. Anyone can contribute. Please unmute yourself and just raise the query.
See, nothing
Okay,
comes
so
nothing comes to the mind, but we appreciate that you are connecting to some of the issues that we are facing in the operations actually. So
yeah.
we are okay with whatever has been told right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and not just that. At the end, we have got a dedicated section for Q&A. So if anything comes in your mind, and not even just at the end, if anything comes in your mind, you can just raise it in here. Okay, I'll be happy to answer that. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you. So let's move ahead. So I'm just going to give you a brief overview of how operations look in Business Center. So I'll just stop my screen sharing and share it in just few seconds. Please bear me with that. Yeah. So just now I've shared my screen. Hope my screen is visible to everyone. So let's move toward the product demonstration. So this is what Business Center looks like. Now, it is not possible for me to introduce each and every operations that can be done inside Business Center in this single situation, in this single webinar. However, I can show some of the cool things that are inside system that can create your operations very much easy. So let me just start with your products. How do you handle your products? So let's say, let me just open one item for you. For example, we have got one item in here. This is one item. Now this is just the master. The transaction is just going to be like tally. However, the scale will be big. The scale will be big. There will be a product master, there will be a customer master, there will be a item master and a vendor master, and all the supporting masters that are required and the related transactions. Just the scale is going to be up, the bars are going to be up. Now this is one item that has been created. Few things that are going to be very useful for you. We have got attribute wise handling of item, which means that you can define attributes for your items. Just directly attach the KLD, the design, the artwork in there. You've got the artwork handling inside the ERP, and then your dies, tools, plates, all handling of all those things inside ERP itself. And once you configure everything properly, system can give you this. I'm not going to explain each and everything because we don't have time for that. However, if you put each and everything properly, if everything is configured, you get this. You get a chart of what you are going to do, how this item is going to be manufactured, and you are going to get warnings related to your transactions before you start your manufacturing. And not just that, the costing engine in here can give you the exact cost of your item. What is the total cost and how did the cost come? What is the cost of the consumption of the item? We are consuming 4 rupees of this item, 2 of this, 22 for this item. And if you want to see why did the cost for this item, why is the cost of this item going up? So you'll see that the rate is quite high. Why is the rate quite high? You can just go to the item, open it, scroll down, just go to the unit cost. You'll see all the entries. I'll show you how it works. So you'll see all the transactional history and the trend of the cost has been happening inside the system. So you can track up to the machine, up to your BOM, and you can go up to 3 or 4 levels of BOM in here to trace your total cost. That is going to be the expected cost for your production. And that is not just it. This is just a simulation of it. This is just a simulation and this is not the actual value. Once you produce, system is going to give you a trend. Let me show you with one example. This might not be very much accurate for you, but let me show you the trend, how the trend happens in here. Yeah, so system keeps transactions for each and every item based on the date. So whenever a date changes, whenever the rate changes, system stores it in it. So whenever you do any kind of transaction of any item, system keeps a track of it. So you get a trend from which vendor it was purchased, when it was purchased, and how much quantity it was purchased, and what is the rate of it. So you can just trace how the cost changed over the period. Now this was just one example. Let me show you one more very useful thing which is going to be very useful for you, which will be the tracking of your tools, your artwork. I'll just filter this item for you and show you how it works. I filter this item And if I drag it down in here, you got all the specifications in here for the item. What is the GSM? What is the product length with height? What is the die that you are going to use? What are the other tools that you are going to use? What is the plates, or maybe if there is any braille involved, how which one you are going to use? What is the number of colors and everything? So all these things are in here, and not just that, your number of hubs, your number of joints, everything inside one single screen. And when you define everything properly, system can trigger transactions using the planning engine. So if I open the order planning, before I create a production order, you'll see that we have got direct conversion between the total required quantity, the board that needs to be created, the sheet that needs to be consumed, and based on that, you can just define the components that is needed to be consumed, what will be the consumption quantity, in which location it is going to be consumed, in which machine you are going to run it, what will be the number of ups, what will be the number of joints, what will be the number of folds. And once you define all these things, just create production orders. Your planner can create production orders, and system will track everything for you. So we have enhanced the process this much that the data entry points are very much less. We want system to be automated so that the less amount of data entry is required, and the less hand work on the system, the more efficient the system is. Now you must be wondering, where is AI? Let me show you where the AI is. Now I'm not going to get in depth about how production works, how everything works, because now is not the right time. You can directly reach out to us for that. We can demonstrate you how that works, how system works end to end, but now is not the correct time for that. So let me just show you how AI is going to enhance this. You see there is a button in here which is called Copilot. You can do multiple stuffs in here, like you have got direct compatibility of Copilot inside your business center. It can talk to your data. If I ask for my customer, let's say that analyze my customer outstanding. So if I needed to do it in my older previous systems, what I would have done, I would have opened my existing, maybe some maybe NAV, or maybe Tally, or maybe some other software that we are already using. NAV itself is an ERP. However, it comes under the older versions of ERP, right? It's not a modern ERP. Hence, everyone needs to upgrade. Now, if I needed to do that, I would go to customer ledger entry. Now, customer ledger entry is just a ledger of the customer. I would go there, I would analyze all the entries of my masters, and then I will give an answer, which would take you maybe minutes or maybe hours based on your efficiency of your team. If I ask my AI in here, this can give me reports, this can find things for me, and the best thing is that it can answer my questions. So if I'm stuck in something, let's say that let's say for example, I'll just give you a use case. I want to do decal planning. I want to know how much do I need to cut my reel. I want to know what could be the expected recipe for this item, for this ink that I need to consume in some production order. I can bring AI to do that thing in here. Now you see that for some reason it hasn't find it, because I'll have to go to customer and find where it is. Yeah, so I've got customers in here, right? So we got AI in here which can find things for me, which can analyze things for me. Now this is a very much text based thing, right? You must be talking to ChatGPT and everything. There are levels of access. If you do not have access, you cannot do that. But since currently in here I have access, I can just analyze things in here. Create me an analysis. Create me an analysis based on my total outstanding from customers, and group it customer wise. So let's say that I'll just rinse this query in here. While system is doing its job, let's talk about some advanced features to discuss. System just created one simple analysis. This is a very simple analysis where system has just created an analysis for me, which is very much AI based. And if I talk to it further, it can just give me in-depth analysis of the statistics of my organization or my customers or maybe vendors or maybe whatever the transaction that you are doing. And not just that, not just related to that. If I go to any customer and if I go in here, there is a feature in here which is called summary. Now this can explain a lot to us. The summary can give you a quick glance of what is there in your system. So you can just look at in here what is the overdue of this customer, the total balance, when did the last payment came, how much came, what is the outstanding and everything. So this is how system can help you in boosting your efficiency. And there are some multiple features that can also boost up your data entry, like the Copilot enabled data entry, which can search data inside relevant to your customer, relevant to the data that you are preparing, and it can give you results. Just check it, evaluate. If it didn't find anything for some reason, I'm not sure, it can fill things in here for you. So these are the things that you can do. Now this is just the operational part of it. Let me just show you how all these things are just going to help you in your overall operations. Now how is it going to help us? Let's say, for example, we have got the production department which consumes your inventory, which consume, for example, let's say that for every production order you consume paper, you consume ink and everything. You want to plan your system, you want to plan for next, for example, let's say that you want to plan your production orders for next 1 month. Maybe there is some algorithm that you currently follow, you want to do that. But now currently if you would like to do, you will first pull up the machine centers, pull up the status of the jobs that are currently running in your jobs, in your machines, in your work centers, in your factory, in your locations, prepare a detailed report and then give it to your planner. Your planner will analyze it, put it in an Excel or maybe some third-party softwares which will simulate that thing for you. Now, in our system, we can integrate your pre-press, die cutting, finishing departments, corrugation or maybe folding departments in one single production process. So what it creates is that it creates integrated data transactions inside Business Central. So if the planner wants to see what is the status of my production orders, he just have to go to the production planner page, open it, he will get machine wise, job wise, sales order wise total status of what is currently running in my plant. Based on that, he can plan things, or we can give AI powered statistics in it, which can enable you AI powered suggestion on which machine should you run it, or if any machine is going overloaded, it can give you maybe notifications, or it can give you suggestions to shuffle it to some other machine which is currently underutilized. And once you do all these things, your costing becomes very much accurate, because when you record your scrap, when you record your total runtime of your jobs, system can, based on your historical data, system can predict what might be the expected runtime for the same item on that machine. So let's say that you are making a carton, 3-ply carton. It takes 5 seconds for one carton. For example, let's assume it takes 5 seconds for one carton, and you consume, and the total making cost is going to be 3 rupees. System can give you the exact detailing of from where what contributed for that 3 rupees. And if you expected the production to be 2 rupees 45 paise, but it went to 3. You can see where did that difference came. So that's the capability that Business Central can give it to you. And not just that, it can connect all the departments, your forecasting, your dispatches, your reporting, everything becomes streamlined. Now, recently, during our last implementation, we intended to not keep it in here, but since we got some feedback from our customers, and we highly appreciate feedbacks from our customers, our prospects, so we would like to share you one story that we recently the plant recently went live in April. Valpac had a very siloed system. They were running on Excel, they were running on Tally. Their quality department was completely disconnected. Their finance was completely running on Tally. Inventory, there was a very much case of inventory mismatch. The procurement team was working very efficiently. I must say that they were utilizing Tally in a very effective way. However, their planning engine was disconnected, costing was disconnected. So the director, Mr. Rohan Phillips, was very much worried. How will we solve this problem? That's when we came in and we pitched Business Central as a platform. In today's landscape, their production department is completely online, their inventory, their finance, everything is connected, and all the compliances are met inside Business Central itself. And as I just mentioned, our collaboration with Valpac was pretty much a very big success story for us. Now, what kind of transformations we deliver? We once you enable Business Central in your plant, once you implement Business Central or any ERP, not just Business Central, any ERP in your plant, how does it help you? It gives you real-time visibility. What is running in your plant? How much is going inside your going out from your plant? How much is being purchased? What is the production statistics? How much are we consuming? What is the total scrap? How to minimize that scrap? Now, that thing can go up to a level which is not concerned in this current session. So we do not have very much time left for that. So we would not get into that. But including AI, we can take it up to a level where you can just take your phone, open Copilot, ask what is the total, what was the total scrap that was generated on production order 26 that was on 26 last month. So it can give you detailed report of it. That is the power of Business Central, but that's a separate discussion. And yes, of course, your quality should reside inside your ERP. Of course, modernization is required because the market is scaling and Business Central is changing, evolving with the market needs. Now, what is the implementation process that we usually follow? This is the very much standard that all the partners, all the ERP lifecycle, or maybe the software lifecycle happens. We first do the discovery, we understand your process, we do the pilot to show you what is your exact problems and how we are going to solve it. We train your users and then we scale your ERP. Not just that, we are not going to just stop there by implementing. Yeah, implementation has been done, now my work is done. No. Being a partner, we give you feedbacks to scale your operations by putting new technologies. Because if I talk about the word modernization, it's not just about ERP, it's about AI, it's about the tools that can help your business grow. So that's why as partners, we strongly enforce once the implementation has been done, once the system is stable, scale it in such a way that it can make your team more efficient, it can bring your cost down, or it can track the cost that is causing the total leakage in your operations. And of course, how you can engage with us. We can do discovery sessions for you. We can do review of your processes. We can prioritize what is the big issue, the big challenges that you're currently facing, and how your existing ERP, how your existing solutions can just solve this, and how we can modernize it using ERP and Microsoft Dynamics 365. Now the forum is open for any question that is being arise in your mind, and everyone is feel free to collaborate on that. Do you have any questions or anything?
So thank you so much, Mr. Shwet, for the excellent demonstration. It was great to see how the Business Central connects the different business functions into the unified platform and enables faster, smarter decision. So moving forward, we'll move to a Q&A session. And if you haven't already submitted on any of your questions, please drop them into a chat box, or you can feel free to unmute yourself and speak up. So let's begin with our first question. Is there anyone attendees like you would like to have a question?
See, yeah, Shreya, this is Arun here.
Yeah.
So if we are already running on ERP, what happens to that?
See, we are having our both the experts. They will be answering all your questions.
Sir, I would like to take that question. So, if you don't mind, can you please repeat your question or maybe elaborate it a little bit?
See, our organization is already running on an ERP. Okay.
Okay.
So some of the key processes have already been integrated in that, and some of them are still having a manual handoff. Yes, there is a bit of a fragmentation. So where do we stand in terms of what is very interesting is the AI part of it, which works on top of this whole information about the organization. So we are already having an ERP. So how does it work out for us?
Okay. So if you don't mind, may I know what is the platform that you are currently running?
Princess?
May I know, is you are under, are you using any Microsoft ERP or any other ERP?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So for that, we would, because it's a very ad hoc question, right? So we would first need to analyze what is your current, what is the current process that you're currently doing, and what are the systems that you're currently using, right? That is the first step. The second step would be to analyze, check, do the feasibility check of how much can be done in that, and how much can be modernized using some Microsoft tools, or maybe if we want, how we can migrate the same thing to ERP, to our ERP, maybe Business Central or maybe some other tool that we can offer. So that's how we connect to it. Yeah. That is very much, honestly, I would say that is very much subjected to the, process that you're currently doing, which I honestly do not know. So what we can do now, you can just reach out to us, and then we can just take it forward to do an analysis of what you are currently doing, and then answer something on that.
Okay. So see, what we're trying to see is like our existing ERP has got all the item masters and all the basic foundational data that is required to understand about the customers, and the entire finance model is running on the ERP, and you have all the process plans and BOMs, everything is on the ERP today. Okay. So do we need to kind of scrap everything and move to Business Central to take the entire advantage, or is it something that can work on top of our ERP today?
Sir, Mantri this side. So the thing is, no need to scrap anything. For example, in future, that if you are planning to move ahead of Microsoft system, right? So what we can do, that we have to check that your business process, as Shwet mentioned. But the thing is that whatever the BOM that you have created, whatever the masters that you have ready, for example, BOM, the routing, your production masters, right? Your inventory masters, your customer masters, your warehouse masters, these has to be migrated from your legacy application to the Business Central one way, and with the enhanced and the optimized way, right? Correct. And obviously that the data that you have persistent in your existing system, this can be also move ahead, right? For example, that you have 1,000 of bomb master, 1,000 of routing, right? maybe 1,000 of inventory. So these will also move at from your legacy to the Microsoft platform.
Okay.
Along with that, for example, that inventory that you have an inventory and that inventory have a, for example, in a multiple sites or multiple locations, right? So
Mhm.
whenever that we upload those inventory or maybe that taken up those inventory from your legacy to the business central, we also take, you know, consider those things in the multiple sites, multiple warehouse, even if that particular inventory have a multiple variants as well, so that
Mhm.
can be also take care of it. So this, Microsoft platform, that the ERP that we are talking about, the business central, so we do
Mhm.
have this kind of feasibilities ready,
Yeah.
right?
However, that
Whenever,
is very much, subjective to the
correct,
study.
right.
So that would be very much appreciated, sir. So if you can just connect with us for maybe to understand what is your current process, then we can just give you in-depth answer on that, how we can, modernize your things.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Any other question? Anyone? Okay. So thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for joining. And I believe it's time to conclude the session. So yeah, thank you very much.